Hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to a live Manchester United news and transfer news and update show. Reports coming out right now, this second, that a deal between Manchester United and Juventus for Jadon Sancho has been agreed. Fabrice Hawkins claiming it is a loan with obligation to buy. Now that Chiesa to Liverpool is done, it's basically been said that United are able to sell Sancho and let him go to Juventus on loan with obligation to buy, although one source is saying it's been agreed, but with an option to buy. So we're waiting to see confirmation from Romano and Ornstein on that. But we've got 3 reliable sources saying that the deal has now been agreed. We had one this morning that wasn't reliable, so I said, watch out. Then we've had 3 reliable sources this afternoon come out and say that the deal is agreed, but there's mixed reports on whether it's an obligation or a buy option, which is apparently set at £40 million as well. Now, Chiesa is undergoing his medical, and I think those deals are somewhat linked, but there is reports saying that United, if they sold Sancho, Greenwood and Pulisic, would sign another attacker. Ivan Toney isn't the one, though, so who is the mystery attacker that Manchester United might look at signing this window as a Sancho replacement? Could Sterling still be on McTominay medical as we speak? Official move for Kone to United as well, the young 17-year-old DM. Lindelof and Eriksen exits still to come, by the way, guys. That could really happen. It could be a busy final 48 hours. Some updates on Sterling, Sancho, and other United plans. But I want to get into the news right now. I will get into the chats in just a second, guys. So bear with me as I obviously go through the news. So it came out now. Breaking: Juventus and Manchester United have reached an agreement for Jadon Sancho on loan with obligation to buy. The big word there, obligation, via Fabrice Hawkins. Juventus have scheduled Jadon Sancho's medical visit for Friday morning. They hope to complete the operation between today and tomorrow. Sancho's medical should go through on deadline day, and it could be a deadline day sale for Sancho. But could that prompt United to make moves for anybody? Well, we obviously have looked at a winger from Real Betis, according to inside information I received, although no journalist has reported that. We've looked at Sterling, we've looked at Bakayoko, apparently, and we even looked at Shota, who's gone to Rennes now, among other names. So I will talk about that later on. But I want to get into the next story. It was said earlier today that Juventus want to sign Sancho on loan with buy obligation. They're working on the Sancho deal until the end. This morning, Juventus upped their offer for the loan, is what was said this morning. It was then said this morning as well that should Jadon Sancho leave, Manchester United would like to bolster their attacking options, suggesting United would like to sign another attacker. Juventus are working on a deal for Jadon Sancho to the end. They've upped their offer this morning for the Manchester United player. They want to sign him on loan with an obligation to buy. Juventus will make first official loan offer for Jadon Sancho in these hours, and that was said about 9 a.m, so it's been multiple hours since. And part of the player's salary would be covered by United, who are asking for a high loan fee. And Juventus are betting everything on Jadon Sancho now that Chiesa is joining Liverpool. So just to put it out there, there's quite a lot of this. Fabrice Hawkins is reliable. You know what? Fabrice Hawkins is a reliable source of information. If it was someone random, I'd say take it with a pinch of salt. But Fabrice Hawkins is quite credible. He's better when it comes to PSG French news, but he was on it with Lenny Yoro. He was on it with Agate. Fabrice Hawkins is genuinely quite credible. He's not Ornstein. My hair's just making a mess there. He's not Ornstein, but he is quite a good source of information. Do you think this means Sterling to United is off? I think if Sancho goes to Juventus, I don't see us making a move for Sterling, but who knows? My hair is really annoying me because it's a bit sticking up at the back there. I would not care if Chelsea loan Sterling to us. If they pay his wages, he can run around. I mean, I think with Jadon Sancho going and with Anthony's form being inconsistent and Rashford's form being inconsistent and the injury issues we have, I do think it would be safe for United to get another winger. I think United are in 2 aspects. United before the window looked at Elise and wanted to bring in 2 midfielders. Now that Eriksen could be sold, Meshby's been sold, McTominay's been sold, and now that Sancho should be sold, Pulisic's been sold, and Greenwood's been sold, maybe United probably do have the funds to get a right winger and a second midfield signing. I'm not talking anybody special, but they probably have that. The big question mark really remains, will United just say, you know what, we're going to wait until January, see what our issues are, and then maybe in January, if there's a clear issue in midfield, we go big on midfield, we go big on the wing, we get a left back in. Is United going to leave it at just Agate? Or, yeah, I don't know really what United are going to do. We're going to talk about that in a second, but United have made it clear, you know, they want another attacking reinforcement if Sancho and Pulisic and Greenwood were to leave. They did make a move for Elise early in the window. Elise, Neto and Nico Williams were their top 3 choices early in the window, but well, none of them could happen now. So I don't know what we'll do. Now, interestingly, we just got more news coming out now from Tanzalik, and this is interesting because this is another reliable source, but they're saying option to buy. Now, Fabrice Hawkins is saying obligation to buy. We've now got news coming out about an agreement for Jadon Sancho that is saying option to buy. Jadon Sancho to Juventus' loan plus option to buy agreement reached between clubs. So we've got another source from Italy saying an agreement has been reached. So we've got 5 sources, 3 of which are credible, saying an agreement has been reached, but 2 are saying obligation to buy. 1 is saying option to buy. So I think, guys, keep your Romano, keep your Ornstein notifications on, because I will. Because I think we should get a Romano or Ornstein announcement on that pretty soon. But it's looking like there's definitely been an agreement reached. We're just trying to find out if it's a obligation to buy or not, and that the medical tests are there. If you just joined the live stream, please do go ahead and hit that like button. And of course, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new. I'm just going to give you the news so you're up to date. The report coming out is that Juventus and Manchester United have reached agreement for Jadon Sancho, and Juventus have scheduled Sancho's medical visit for Friday morning. It was now said that Juventus want to sign Sancho on loan with an obligation to buy. They're working on the Sancho deal until the end. This morning, Juventus upped their offer on loan. And should Sancho leave United, United would like to bolster their attack. Juventus are working on a deal for Sancho to the end of the window. And we also got here from Fabrice Hawkins the agreement between Man United and Juventus for Sancho, loan with obligation. But Tanzalik is saying it's an agreement has been reached, but option to buy. So I think we're just waiting to see what are those final details as well. It should be obligation to buy for Sancho. Yeah, 100%. For me, my stance will always be it should be an obligation. Should be an obligation for Sancho, absolutely. I don't want to have to worry about offloading Sancho next season. I don't want to have to worry about that. I want to say, you know what, even if Sancho's loan goes shite, there's a 40 million obligation to buy. They have to buy him, even if Sancho's loan goes shite. That's the way I want it to be. I do not want to have to sit in next summer saying, oh, if we can sell Sancho, we can save all this money in wages. You sell Sancho, you save 15 million a year in wages. You get a 5 million loan fee and potentially a 35 million obligation to buy, which means United do quite well financially out of that deal, which would give us the funds to bring in an attacker. Now, there is an attacker out there that we've watched with a 25 million release clause that's 18 years of age and very exciting. I will talk about him in a second. But I just want to say, guys, we're on 90,890 subs. 90,890 subs, so 10 away from 90.9k. So please do subscribe if you're new on the road to 100k subscribers as well. Someone said I'm sad. I was hoping for Sterling, really. I don't really want Sterling. I think I would like an attacker to come in, but I wasn't the biggest fan of the Sterling Sancho swap deal. Now, obviously, I'm going to say one thing. Potentially Sterling to United can still happen. Potentially, it falls through or Chelsea offer us a better deal. But I did say earlier, I wouldn't be surprised if United were using Chelsea to get what they want out of Juventus. Juventus have now sold Chiesa. They have no excuse to muck about any longer. They now can get the Sancho deal done. I've said this. Maybe United are using Chelsea to try and get a deal for Sancho. Maybe Man United using Chelsea to try and get a deal out of Juventus for Sancho. Because Juventus were throwing around options to buy. United have made it clear to Juventus, obligation to buy only. Now they think they might lose out on Sancho to Chelsea. Maybe Juventus are throwing in the obligation to buy. Do you think United need another winger? They've got Amad Garnacho and they've got Rashford and Antony. I think one more just because of the form of Rashford and Antony can't be guaranteed. And obviously Amad and Garnacho are so young. And I think injuries, I would say one more winger. And I will talk about that in a second. Do you think United should have kept Pelistri? No, 1 year left on his deal wasn't going to be good enough. I mean, look, he could have been a decent fifth option, but Pelistri deserves to be playing regular minutes. So I don't think it was necessary that United kept Pelistri nor that as well. United could try and get Sterling on loan and Chelsea pay some of his wages. Potentially, I mean, that would suit us more. If we sold Sancho, got 40 million for Sancho, and then got Sterling on a super cheap loan, I'm not totally against that as well. So yeah, interesting stuff. Anyway, obligation means team definitely buys the player. Option means they can opt not to buy the player after the loan. Exactly. And that's why we want an obligation, because then we know next summer we're 100% getting money for Sancho, so we can prepare our spend knowing that we're going to get that in. If we don't know we're going to get the Sancho money, we can't always make moves. The reason we didn't sign Elise, Newcastle, Chelsea and Bayern all put in a bid for Elise, despite United wanting Elise. United couldn't put in a bid because they still had Sancho, they still had Antony, they still had Pelistri, they still had Greenwood. Once Man United knew, if Man United had known that Sancho was going to go and that Greenwood was going to go, and they had done that early in the window, they would have made a move for Elise, I'm sure of it. And that's why an obligation to to buy is key, because now next year we might say, well, we know we're going to get the funds for Sancho, so we're definitely going to buy a winger. Man United may not buy a winger. They may just sign Agate, and that's the last signing, and just see how the wingers do, the midfielders do, the left-back situation does, and put that funds towards next summer. If you've got even more to spend next summer, if there's need for improvement, they may put that loans towards a January signing. But it'll be good. It's good to definitely get the obligation to buy as well. So it's looking like Sancho is basically gone. But yeah, loan with obligation to buy is what is coming out in regards to Sancho. If we're getting another winger, surely we'd have gone for Chiesa, such a low fee going for, especially for bench play. Do you know what? I agree. I'm surprised we let Chiesa go to Liverpool when we've been in negotiations with what do you call them? Now I know that Chiesa's injury prone, I know that he's hit and miss, but I think Chiesa for that fee, I'd rather Chiesa than Sterling. I think Chiesa for that fee, maybe we could have done that kind of deal with Juventus, but Chiesa is now Liverpool bound, which makes the sort of situation a little bit annoying, because Liverpool now get Chiesa on a bargain deal. But let's get back into some news. Let's get back into some stories. But it is here we go time for Jadon Sancho potentially. I'm actually keep waiting for the Romano tweet or Ornstein tweet, because now that reliable sources have said it's agreed, I generally believe there's been an agreement. But I want to know if the agreement's an obligation or an option to buy. I'm assuming obligation, because I trust Fabrice Hawkins, but you never know. So let's get into some other stories going out. There is some ones to watch in the world of transfer news right now. Ajax have registered an interest in re-signing Christian Eriksen, although no offers have been tabled as of yet, said Simon Jones. And that Lazio are weighing up a move for Victor Lindelof before the final transfer window closes. They will have to battle Fiorentina, Eintracht Frankfurt, and a few Saudi Pro League clubs for Lindelof's services. So we've been told in these final days of the window, there is clubs looking at signing Eriksen and Lindelof. Now, as far as I'm aware, United would let Lindelof go for £6 million and Eriksen go for £4 million. They're very much saying to those players, you can go on the cheap. You're not going to play football. You're not going to be part of our plans. Eriksen has indicated he'd be open to leaving United if he doesn't get minutes. Lindelof's injury may hold him back, and Lindelof's desire to collect his wages also may hold him back leaving. But Eriksen and Lindelof exit is one to watch. Why are people saying Alice Romano, man? Chiesa's injury prone, not the same player was a few years ago, I agree, but he's still a better player than a lot of players that we have on the wings. But I think Chiesa could do a better job than Antony, and he can play. Chiesa's quite a good Sancho replacement, because he can play centre forward, right wing, and left wing as well. And Alice, what about Mudryk? Definitely not. Madueke I take, but not Mudryk or not Sterling from Chelsea as well. Lindelof £6 million is basically a payoff as per contract extension. Basically, I think Man United just are desperate to get rid of Lindelof, because they know that he'll walk for free, and any money they can get, they kind of want to get, because they know they're not going to play him. Like, Evans might even be ahead of him. Lindelof might actually be sixth choice. Someone's saying Nico Williams. So I'd love Nico Williams at United, but Nico Williams had interest from Liverpool. He had interest from Arsenal that tried to pursue him. Had a lot of interest from Barcelona, but is staying, probably waiting for Barcelona next year when Barcelona have the funds to get him as well. Oh, Fabrizio Romano's just come out. Oh, Fabrizio Romano update coming in now. Look at this here. So it looks like we're going to get some information on Sancho soon. Now, obviously, lots of outlets from France and obviously Italy are saying there's agreement between Sancho and PSG. What Romano has said is he hasn't said anything about agreement yet, but he said that Juventus have improved their proposal for Jadon Sancho. So Romano has said that Juventus have put in a much higher and improved proposal for Jadon Sancho. Maybe the Chelsea links, maybe the Sterling links have sort of scared Juventus and prompted them into putting this big proposal for Sancho. But it's come out right now from Fabrizio Romano that negotiations are ongoing between Manchester United and Juventus for Sancho. After selling Chiesa, Juventus have presented a new offer to United. He's saying loan with buy option. United want obligation to buy. Negotiating is happening at the moment. Things could change. So we've got Fabrice Hawkins saying a deal is agreed. Romano is saying a deal isn't agreed just yet. Romano is also talking about a Man United want an obligation to buy, and that's what's holding it up. But negotiations are ongoing. After selling Chiesa, Juventus presented a new offer. It's a loan with a buy option. So Romano is saying it's a loan with a buy option that's been presented, not obligation to buy. But Man United want an obligation option, and that's when negotiations is happening to try and agree a negotiation to buy. Maybe United ask for a higher loan fee and a lower negotiation to buy option potentially, and they pay some of his wages to thank them for buying him at the end of the year. But we know that Man United have made it very clear, we want Sancho out, but we want him out on our terms. We're not going to let him go on a cheeky, easy loan that doesn't cost you much money. We want Sancho out on our terms. We want to cash in for Sancho. We don't want to be paying his wages, and we want to make sure that he's gone next year. So I do think keep an eye on what's going on there. Fabrizio Romano is confirming that there is some movement ongoing as well, which is good to see. Sterling could join United even if Sancho goes to Juventus, is what Ben Jacobs has said as well. So again, another interesting story coming out in regards to United news. Manuel Ugarte is in Manchester ready for his medical plus contract signing, but waiting for McTominay to complete formal documents. So Manuel Ugarte is there, but he's just waiting for Scott McTominay to get his move. Guys, quickly, if you are watching right now and you're not subscribed, please do subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new. I'm 9 subscribers away from 90.9k. I'm on 90,891 subscribers, so we're on the road to 100k. I appreciate every new person that subscribes, but Manuel Ugarte is in Manchester. He's ready for his medical and his contract signing, but he's got to wait for Napoli to complete the final documents from McTominay first, which is really frustrating because Ugarte's here, but we are just waiting on Scott McTominay, is what is now being reported as well. Do you think United could have done a swap deal with Chiesa and Sancho? Potentially, but United made it very clear they don't want to do swap deals, they want cash. So I would be surprised if they did a swap deal for Sterling. Leroy Sané, apparently Bayern are open to selling Leroy Sané, who I would take at United, but he's had a big injury record as well. Former City isn't the most appealing, but he has had a big injury record as well. As much as I like Leroy Sané, it's definitely a risk. Can play left wing, can play right wing. Is probably better as a left winger. And I remember that season under Pep before he got that injury, he was absolutely unreal. I mean, Sané got 14 goals and 10 assists in the 22-23 season. And last season, he got quite decent numbers for Bayern Munich as well. So you never know. I was annoyed that City obviously landed him because I like the player. He got 10 goals and 13 assists last season with a much better injury record. I'm not against Sané to United for the right price, but I think if we were going to do business with Bayern, we would have done it when we got Masraoui and De Ligt. I don't know if we're going to go back in for a third Bayern Munich signing in Sané, but I'm not against that. He has been linked to Arsenal, Sané, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. We are 8 subscribers away from 90.9k, so do subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. Someone said I take Sané in heartbeat. I take Rodrigo and Sané as well. Alice, I always like and was always subscribed. Appreciate that as well. Manuel Ugarte is waiting to do his medical because of the whole McTominay situation, but that should be fine. So we get back into the news. Shall we get back into the stories and the information that is going about in regards to United then? So we've obviously got the ones to watch is going to be the Lindelof Eriksen situation. We basically know that Sancho is probably going to leave, but McTominay has essentially left pending his medical. The ones to watch is if Lindelof goes, if Eriksen goes, because that could give United the funds to make one more signing after Ugarte, which would be interesting to see. Alice, do you think Liverpool are going to actually swap Darwin Núñez with Arsenal? Really? Wait, what is this Darwin Núñez to Arsenal stuff? What is this Darwin Núñez to Arsenal stuff? Arsenal want Núñez? Surely not. He can't finish it. And they've already got Jesus who can't finish. What's the report coming out? Arsenal are interested in signing Darwin Núñez before Friday's deadline, and the player's keen on the move and to work under Mikel Arteta and win trophies. Liverpool willing to sell, improbable, but not impossible. So there's reports coming out that Liverpool and Arsenal could be doing a deal for Darwin Núñez, which kind of surprises me. Apparently Núñez wants to leave Liverpool. Darwin Núñez wants to leave Liverpool is what's being reported right now. So that's interesting as well. That is absolutely interesting. And Arsenal do have a bit of money. Darwin Núñez apparently wants to leave Liverpool. Someone said, here we go. What's the here we go for? We've had a few here we goes. We've had a Chiesa here we go today. We had a McTominay here we go last night. We had a Ugarte here we go yesterday morning. We had a Mejbri here we go the day before. We haven't got a Sancho here we go yet, but we've been told the Sancho here we go. We've been told the Sancho deal was agreed. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this Arsenal for Darwin Núñez news, but it could be one to keep an eye on. It is an interesting story going about. Apparently it's from a credible source as well. I mean, it sounds like a fake story, but apparently it's from a credible source. It's also said it's on Chelsea now. If Chelsea can agree a salary with Osimhen, he will fly to London. If not, he will say thanks and go to Saudi. So apparently Chelsea, if they can offload Sterling, will probably go for Osimhen. So, I mean, there's a lot happening in the transfer window. Chelsea could be moving for Osimhen. Ali management set to travel to Italy to advance over talks for Osimhen. Nothing changed yet as Chelsea remain in talks over Osimhen around personal terms and salary. Al-Ahly only possible if Chelsea are not able to agree terms. I mean, the transfer window's gone mad. Osimhen to Chelsea and Núñez to Arsenal. Núñez to Arsenal, that is fake Arsenal. Is it fake Arsenal news? I mean, who knows? There's so much news. So people keep saying, here we go. I'm not seeing any here we go. Someone said, here we go to bed. I don't know. It was interesting. There's a lot going on as well. But yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on the other clubs. Anyway, Sekou Kone will officially join United tomorrow. So if you don't know who that is, that's a new young defensive midfielder we signed. He's 18 years of age, maybe 17. Was like standout player in the under-17 World Cup. One of the best young talents out there. The thing about United is scouting has never been the issue. We scouted Moises Caicedo, we scouted Haaland when they were £3-4 million. Scouting has never been the issue at United. It's just that the people at United have never bothered to listen to the scouts. This is a Christopher Vival deal, but also probably being picked out by the scouts. And I think this is a really good signing and addition for Manchester United as well. No, that's not true. Someone said that United are trying to hijack the Cooper Miners deal. No, that's not true. Juventus have presented a loan with an option to buy. United want obligation to buy. There's a feeling that United could get an obligation to buy. Spurs on the verge of signing Vinicius off Real Madrid. Here we go. You know what? I'm not that gullible. Anyway, let's get into the news. What else has been said? So what is the latest on the Raheem Sterling situation? Because there's been quite a bit of news coming out on this. Manchester United likely can't move for Raheem Sterling unless he agrees a settlement with Chelsea and Jadon Sancho goes the other way. That is the preference. There's an outside chance that United get the terms on Sterling and Sancho joins United. So they're saying it's possible that Sterling lowers his terms, Sancho goes to Juventus, we get Sterling on our terms, but it's probably quite a low chance. It said that Manchester United's ability to sign Sterling is seen as smart to strengthen the left-hand side with the player's versatility also to play as a forward. I guess it is like a decent replacement for Sancho. It was said that United's current stance is clear on Ben Chilwell, no interest in talks going on either. So the good thing is United have absolutely no interest in going for Ben Chilwell, but Sterling is a possibility, but it looks like Jadon Sancho is Juventus bound. It really does look like Sancho is Juventus bound. Alice, who do you think will be the next signing after Ugarte? This is the difficult thing. So I'm going to get something up on my screen, but it was said that United wanted to sign 2 midfielders this summer and a winger. And this was said by credible reports. Now, we've obviously got this story coming out. Can you see my screen here? That should Jadon Sancho leave United, the club will look to bolster their attacking options. So it has been said that United are interested in signing a forward. And then if I go and get this up, bear with me. Bear with me one sec, guys. So it has been said, as you can see on the screen, that United have been interested in signing a forward. But also, I'm going to get this story up here. But it's also been said this summer that United are interested in potentially signing a midfielder. So if Eriksen, Mejbri and McTominay go, we want to sign another midfielder. If Sancho, Pellistri and Greenwood go, we want to sign another attacker. So obviously this is what was said earlier. Manchester United are hopeful of signing 2 midfielders this summer. United will need to generate funds if they're to strengthen midfield. This could be achieved by selling Casemiro, Hannibal, Scott McTominay this summer. It was also said that United would like to bring in 2 midfielders before the end of the summer. A second player in the position would depend on outgoings. Mejbri's gone, McTominay set to go. Eriksen could now go with Ajax renewing their interest. That Wolves' João Gomez and Fluminense's Andre are 2 midfielders Manchester United appreciate. Gomez is valued at 60 million, Andre is valued at 30 million. So it's always been said that Andre to United is definitely one to watch as well. The whole Andre to United situation. So I think United signing a winger and United signing another attacker can't be ruled out. Like, I think United might just save the funds and wait until January, but it definitely can't be ruled out. I'm going to show you this as well. Phone's buzzed. Have we got a here we go? Every time my phone buzzes, I check. Just about Osimhen. Osimhen could be one to watch as well if Chelsea bring him in. Anyway, Chelsea look like they're going to bring in a striker. Chelsea need a centre back, if I'm going to be honest. But continuing on, this was said by me. In the final 48 hours of the transfer window will be busy for United. Ajax coming back in to try sign Eriksen. Lazio, one of the few teams interested in signing Lindelof. Juventus ready to do a loan with obligation to buy for Chiesa. Now Chiesa has been sold. This is reports saying an agreement has been found circulating now. So there's reports saying that Juventus want to do an obligation, are willing to do an obligation now, and that the agreement's been found, although I would take it with a pinch of salt. McTominay and Ugarte medicals were today. At the start of the window, it suggested United wanted to sign 2 midfielders and a winger. This can only happen if Sancho, Greenwood and Pellistri were sold for wing, and McTominay, Eriksen and Mejbri sold in midfield. So maybe surprise signings on the cards. Amrabat and Rabiot still haven't been completely ruled out as well. Could United move for Osimhen? They won't pay his wages as well. Left back, left wing, Bruno type. I think a number 8. someone that can play across the front three and a left back would be, for me, I'm happy with the window, but you sign someone that can give left back cover, someone that can play across the front three and a number 8, and that would be almost a 10 out of 10 window had we sold Anthony and maybe got Elise as the winger as well. United could maybe move for Hermoso and Rabiot as free agents. Potentially they may look at that, but it's been said by the very reliable Laurie Whitwell and the very reliable Athletic that United aren't interested in signing a left back. They'll reassess in January. I think surely you would want to reassess before January. You'd want to assess that situation now. I think with Luke Shaw and Molasses's injury record, I do think it's a massive risk for United not going all out to try and sign a left back. But, that is United's decision. Personally, I think that United have been a bit silly there. Do you think they could go for Evan Ferguson? He wasn't very good last season as well. Someone said here Evan Ferguson could be another Nunes. He wasn't good last year. He wasn't good. I like Evan Ferguson as a player, but he was pretty poor last year. Stretford says we need a left back. I absolutely agree. We do need a left back as well. Rabiot could be a bad choice. Alice, what do you think of Cobby? It's early days. I think he's been fine. People online have been making out that Cobby's been bad this season, but I think he's been absolutely fine. I don't know what people are seeing that I'm not seeing, but I see that I think Cobby's been playing all right. I thought Cobby had a good game, but a couple of people online were saying he had a bad game. I thought he was very good versus Brighton. So, I've got some more news and information coming out. Documents still need to be signed on McTominay deal. He's now expected to fly tomorrow. Both him and Agati deals are on track, though. Just a few delays in the McTominay deal, according to Sky, and that's why he's not flown out just yet. Juventus have improved their proposal for Sancho. Sterling can still join United even if Juventus goes to Sancho. Reece Bennett is very close to joining Fleetwood Town, and United believe that Sterling is better than Anthony, and Sancho probably is. And Man United may not look to move for anyone after Manuel Ugarte. It depends on opportunities. Lazio weighing up a potential move for Lindelof as well. Ajax are weighing up a potential move for Ericsson. Kona to United is done, and he will join United tomorrow. Di Marzio is saying that United and Napoli have exchanged all the McTominay documents, but he's going to now fly to Italy on Friday. So McTominay's not flying to Italy just yet. Maybe a few delays there. Who knows? But so much is just going on right now in the transfer window and on the transfer front. It has been a little bit crazy as well. Guys, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Yeah, please do hit that like button if you have not already. And of course, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new and want to stay up to date on all the latest United news. I'm on 90,893 subscribers, so I'm 7 subscribers away from 90.9k as we're on that road for 100k as well. Please keep Sterling and Chilwell away from our clubs, particularly Chilwell. Hi Alice, how are you? Is the Sancho deal to Juve agreed? Well, there's about 4 or 5 sources saying it's agreed, but some sources saying it's an obligation, some sources saying it's an option. Romano hasn't said that it's agreed yet, that they're working on it and it's advanced. So maybe it is agreed and Romano doesn't know yet, or maybe it's not agreed and those 4 or 5 sources are lying to us. But obviously the reports coming in is that the Sancho deal was agreed. As David said, smash the subscribe button as well. Why is the United fan base so negative? I don't think it's completely negative. I think we've been quite positive. People will be negative, but I think with our transfer window, I felt quite positive. I think Agate is a good deal, Xerxes is a good deal, Euro is a good deal, Delict's a good deal. I felt quite positive in regards to United. I think that we've got a really good squad. I think we've got some really good players. I think a left back for depth, I understand, another number 8. Another winger, but I think that we've got Garnacho, we've got Ahmad, we've got Højlund, we've got Xerxes. I think Rashford, if we can get him in form, will be really good. I think in midfield, Cobby, Agate, Bruno, Mount, there's some good options there. I think defence, Euro, Delict, Mazraoui, Shaw, if he could stay St. Martinez, there's good options in defence. I think we've got a good team and had a good summer window and brought players at the right price. Romano said that Chelsea are very open to the Jadon Sancho Raheem Sterling swap deal, but they're not keen on paying big money and signing Sancho with no players involved in the deal. Sancho is open to joining Chelsea or Juventus. So Romano is saying that Sancho's happy to join both Chelsea and Juventus, but United are not keen on paying big money, but Chelsea are not keen on paying big money and signing Sancho if there was no players involved in the deal. So Chelsea will only do a deal for Sancho if it benefits them, aka they get Sterling off the books, who they want to get off the books, and a younger player in as well. Someone said, be patient on the Sancho deal. United want an obligation. There's talks of a conditional obligation, and the option becomes an obligation should certain conditions be met. We'll just see where it ends up with Juventus. They've improved their position, and the 2 clubs remain in talks. So United Muppeteers are saying that, some reports are saying there's an agreement. The United Muppeteers aren't saying there's any kind of agreement between Sancho leaving, but the United Muppeteers are saying that we've got to be patient. United are taking their time to make sure they get an obligation or an option to buy, and the offers have been options to buy. The clubs remain in talks, so it could be one most definitely to watch as well. Juventus are asking for conditional buy clause. Yeah, that's what's holding up the deal. Juventus want obligation to buy. They don't want obligation to buy. They want option to buy. We want obligation to buy. Juventus put an option to buy him, a buy clause, so they don't end up buying him if he's been crap on loan for a year. Whereas we've very much been the situation of we want him gone. We don't have to deal with selling him next year. And I think that's why the deal's been delayed. But I think United almost starting to use maybe Sancho to Chelsea is something that's going to improve their negotiation position as well. Andre to Fluminense could be the next signing. We have had a look at Andre Fluminense, but I don't expect anything to happen. Do you think there's any hope that United will sign another midfielder or left back? I don't think left back. I do think an Amrabat deal could still be on the cards, potentially if McTominay goes. Mesbury's gone, McTominay could go, Eriksen could now go. I think potentially another midfielder could be on the cards. Can't rule that off, but I don't think it'll be anyone super exciting or super big. I think it would be like Rabiot or Amrabat or something very basic. But listen, people, we've hit the 30-minute mark on the live stream, so I'm going to wrap up now. Please do that like button if you have not already. Of course, subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're new as well. And big up for everybody watching. I'll be back later tonight. See you then. Bye.